Hey, this is Attila, and you're listening to Movie Prosecutioners. Let's go. Today we're gonna talk about social media in movies. So, social media in movies is a very specific topic. I was thinking about it while I was watching Fallout. Fallout is a movie from 2021. Don't confuse it with the game, but it's a movie with Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega, most of the people will know her from Wednesday, from the series, and she's playing in this movie a socially disturbed character, which is not very unusual for this woman, I would say. But what I want to say about it is that there was something coming up on my mind while I was watching it, because I was like, okay, these kind of things happen a lot. Movies where social media is taking part of everyday conversation, like a more modern written movie, there's always like these people who have problems emotionally and especially also in a social way. So I was thinking maybe there's something I could write about. So I was watching more and more movies about it. I watched The Social Network, I watched Nerve, and at the end I even watched a movie called He's All That, which is the second, it's a sequel of He's All That. And everybody who is like listening and it's around 35, they maybe have watched this movie, He's All That. It's like a movie from the early 2000s, and it's like a rom-com, really popular rom-com from back in the days. Um, so I was watching a lot of movies that had like some implications or the usage of social media in a very extensive way. What I saw there is like all of the main characters always, if you watch Jesse Eisenberg in The Social Network, or if you watch Emma Roberts in Nerve, you always have people who have like social disabilities. And in The Social Network, you have like this Mark, like a version of Mark Zuckerberg, but in Nerve you actually have a fictional character who is not a creator but a user of social media. And social media is always portrayed as something where people lose the concept of reality and the way they are socially interact. Like they lose a healthy way of interact with other people. And that was fascinating, and I was like, is this reality? Do we all have like this in us? Do we all, like, if we use social media too extensively, do we like lose track of normal social behavior, or do we have a bad social behavior and then we're gonna go into social media and become big there, or we just create social media? I don't know. I was intrigued if there's like a correlation or like a connection in general between these two things. And so what I did, what every normal person would do, is I went on a university platform and I searched for papers that try to make a connection between your social behavior, or in this case, emotional intelligence, and the usage of social media. So I searched a little bit for different studies. This one is this is a Turkish study. I read it in English. It's also written in English from the platform I used. And it basically searches for correlation, which is significant, between emotional intelligence and the usage of social media. And they found three things. If you are controlled and are able to control your emotion easily, if you think you are capable of recognizing easily how you feel, if you generally think you are well off and you will be in the future well off, and if you think you can handle easily social contact and people. These four categories. If you fulfill these four categories from your own account, like what you yourself think about yourself, if you have these three capabilities, basically, then it's most likely that an educational use of social media is part of your life, and it's very unlikely that you express yourself over social media, and it's very unlikely that you see social media as entertainment. And I was like, wow, okay. So basically that means that if I express myself over social media, like I do it right in this moment when I'm recording this podcast, then I have probably a less control over my emotions, a less good ability about or the probability that I'm someone who is not able to see his own emotion, to feel, to recognize his own emotion. That's probably me then, because I'm using this platform that I'm on right now to express myself. And I was like, wow, this is like a really big meta comment on life, on podcasting, on usage of social media. But I was like, so does that mean that social media makes us like, if we use it to express ourselves, is this making social media like a barrier between us and other people? Is this making us not be able to see our own emotions? And then I was thinking again, haha. I was like, okay, in the moment I use social media to express myself, or in the moment that I use direct communication to express myself, like which one of these ways, which kind of feedback do I get? And I would say I'm doing this for 4 episodes, and I get feedback from people personally that know me, but in general I don't get open public feedback about what I'm doing here right now. So nobody is writing a comment or something like that, so at least not so far. So I was thinking, if I would say all this directly to a person, like everything that I'm thinking about and everything that I'm recording here, I probably would get very fast a lot of feedback about my thoughts. So the kind of feedback circle would be different, and how I would approach what I say would be very different. It would be most certainly less structured, and most certainly I would not be so persistent on my opinion, because here what I'm saying is what I pre-written in a kind of way. So I have like notes and I have like an idea where I'm going to, while when you have a conversation directly with a person, you kind of adapt to certain ideas the other one has, or certain input factors. And to get back to movies, if you watch a movie like Nerve, you see this difference in how the main character communicates, because there's no filter, or there are very big filters between her and other people while she's using social media to express herself, to do entertainment. So you have this kind of way with social media, where you get instant feedback, or maybe like a shitstorm where you have like a gigantic amount of feedback, or you get no feedback and you have like, okay, I can just do it further what I've done, or worse, you get very good feedback for very unmorally things that you would say. So the way social media is changing perspectives, because you don't have a direct response from people. This is something I see in these movies where they're like, especially in Nerve, where she's like getting hyped, because they're only people watching and feeling entertained and don't see her as a person, don't see her struggle. You have a vision of the truth which is reduced on what wants to be shown. And that is something that makes this conversation between like the receiver and the communicator very slim and very one-sided. And this kind of relationship, this one-sided relationship that is shown via these movies, is fascinating. I was really like, when I rewatched Nerve, because I wanted to do this episode, I was like, there's a crazy barrier, and it would be so much better like if all these people would know what's going on in her general life. They would have a whole picture, and they would not appreciate how she behaves, like the main character, the Emma Roberts character. And this is social media. It gives you like a very reduced version of what you can see. And yeah, and there you can kind of get where this is coming from. If you can see your own emotions, if you can handle social contacts easily, you don't need this barrier between you and the social media. And here, like a hot take, maybe social media was invented for people who need them to get into the social contacts that they want to have in their life. I would lie, like I used Bumble a lot to find friends in cities where I haven't been so far, and it's like a way to go over a barrier that's the normal conversation, or the normal way of like the first few phrases, and then to make jokes, and then to get into a contact, and then to kind of like, I don't know, be in the same sports club, and so on and so on. But social media is making make you over jump certain barriers, but puts in different barriers. I mean, let's go back to my Bumble example. In the Bumble example, it's like often you meet people, and then people vanish very fast because you don't have other social boundaries. You're not friends. You don't have friends or friends who know each other. So there's a different kind of relationship that you have to these people because you met them over social media. What I want to say, to get to a conclusion, and this is an episode that is a lot of non-movie talk, but it's so fascinating. I would recommend everybody to watch The Social Network, because it's in general a fantastic movie. And if you want to learn more about how I think this kind of view and the kind of usage of social media is portrayed in a good way, maybe not in a perfect movie, but this specific point, this specific factor is good portrayed, then I would invite you to watch Nerve. But about the thing that I learned through researching here a little bit is that social media should be a tool, and it can help. I met really cool friends over Bumble, but it should be a tool. And what I also learned when I was reading the study was that especially if you use it only to express yourself and only to pass time. Like if you use it like as a version to not do a normal social life, then I would say you should reduce the usage of social media. And so for myself, I will try to use social media as a tool so that it helps me. It helps me to find what I'm searching for. At best, obviously, to educate myself and to find the right people. But yeah, um, I use it for a lot of other stuff as well. I don't know how often you have been in the rabbit hole on YouTube, watching a billion videos, and at the end, I don't know, learning not what you wanted to learn and seeing stuff that you are not really want to watch. So yeah, but I guess it's for everybody, like kind of your own way is important, and this is just a statistic, and there are billions of statistics for a lot of stuff. It's just a little bit of evidence, but not a causal relationship. So make your own thing about this. Watch a lot of movies. There are fantastic movies about that. And yeah, comment if you have some ideas about what I said and want to share a little bit. I would be happy to answer or to react on this as well, because we all use social media and we all have, like, I would say, something to say about it. So very well, that's me for today. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. See you next time. Bye.